from being a wrestler, this is where this started in my life, but I highly recommend it. Buy a scale and weigh yourself every day. Every morning I weigh myself to like routine, get up, go shower, weigh myself, because when you physically see that number, it's like a mental check, you know, like in your head, like you know where your numbers are.
This is Corey Jones with the Be Ready with Safety Man podcast. Join us every week for a new podcast. Follow us everywhere podcasts are played and on YouTube. Be Ready with Safety Man. This is Corey Jones.
All right, we're back yet again. It is Safety Man podcast with the host with the most, Safety Man.
Hey, thanks, Ida Hoagie. I appreciate that. SafetyMan.co is where my business lies, and all your social media at SafetyManCO. Leave off the last M for money.
Save you some money. Take the M off. SafetyMan.co. All right, so this is an important one, and this is something that I think Hollywood, even though this is not Hollywood Myths, check out our other episodes of Hollywood Myths.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
For cop ones. They're fun. But this is something that I think this is like the number one cops get portrayed as is like overweight, unhealthy, you know, things like that. So today we're just going to talk a little bit about ways to avoid that late night snack and kind of get past there. Corey's in great shape. I'm probably in okay shape, but I would say we're above average, you know, when it comes to physicalities. So I thought that Corey can maybe tell us a little things that maybe work for him over the years, because he's done 25 plus years. He survived night shifts and kind of things, and you know, eluded those donuts and things.
Yes,
so
yes.
I figured we talk a little bit about staying healthy.
Yeah,
on the
two
job.
words for you. 2 words is meal planning. Meal
Yeah.
planning. You know, there's a lot of companies out there that are actually doing that now. So it's not just for those who want to stay fit, but I think it's for people who just want to save time. People are working 2 jobs, have kids doing a lot of things. You know, meal planning, prepping. You know, we talk about prepping as far as prepping in case the apocalypse comes. We've had a couple of apocalypses in the past couple of months, and we all kind of learned what is actually important to us. And I guarantee a lot of people probably took that prep bag, dumped it out, and restocked it with things that they realized were actually important to them. But for your day-to-day, to keep yourself healthy, to know that I can drive past Chick-fil-A as good as it is because I got something that I like that I made that's in my bag, is spending a Sunday making 3 or 4 meals and then putting them in different containers, freezing some, saving some in the refrigerator so you can grab what you need to go. Something sweet, something snacks, balanced meals with vegetables, carbs, and protein, stuff that you're going to like. Mix it up. So I don't want you eating spaghetti 5, 6, 7, 8 meals in a row.
Yeah,
Because
meal prepping doesn't count if you just pack it. What was the one I saw? The guy ordered a pizza on Sunday and then he just put a slice in anything. He's like, it's meal prepping.
That's a start. And I'm sure he enjoyed it.
For me, when it comes to food, I like to pack a lunch for a couple reasons. One, it saves a ton of money. And I know we're not talking about that specifically, but man, you spend so much money. If you just calculate, like, I mean, an average officer probably works about 200 days a year, give or take, something like that. I don't know. You know, you put in there like the coffee, the soda, the snack, and, you know, the sandwich from Wawa or 7-Eleven every day. I mean, you're talking $10-$20 every day. And you times that by, you know, 200 days, that's $2,000 to $4,000 a year you're spending at Wawa.
Times 25-year career. Right?
Yes. And
that's almost $50,000.
No, more than that. Well, $2,000 would be 50, and then up to $100,000 you're spending $20. Yeah. So literally, that boat, that house, you know, it was at Wawa has it. You know, that's where you put the money.
Yep.
And you know, a lot of things too is that the older I get, I find, you know, like when I was younger, I always tell this story. When I was in college, man, I would go out and you know, 18 years old, after a party, we go to Wawa. I would get, I swear to God, I would do this. I would get a blue Gatorade, 32-ounce blue Gatorade. This is at 2 a.m., okay? 32-ounce blue Gatorade. I would get this chicken sandwich, which, shout out to my buddy Carl who gave me the idea for this sandwich, because you could build your own. Fried chicken sandwich, okay, with hot sauce, hot peppers, cheese, and bacon.
Queso.
Okay. And then at around 2, 3 a.m., the guy, if I got lucky, would deliver the donuts fresh to Wawa, and they had those Oreo cream donuts. I would eat that probably about 3-4 nights a week at 2, 3 in the morning. Wake up the next day, have a 6-pack ab, and still be able to go to the gym. Wow. Around 25, that wasn't working anymore.
The metabolism kind of slowed down.
So if you're on night shift, especially, if you're eating late, you're going to the diner. You know, a lot of cops go to the diner. If you're eating at 2, 3 a.m. and then you're planning on going to bed, you know, 2 hours later when you get done at 6 a.m. or whatever, I mean, that food is just sitting in your stomach. I mean, I think that's one thing I would give a tip is, like, late night eating. Even though you're on night shift because you're like, oh, it's dinner time technically. Eat earlier. Try to eat around midnight, 1 o'clock if you can, because then it gives you that 6-7 hours to digest before you go to bed, instead of eating it right before bed.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure.
Yep. So in keeping your food available with you avoids the panic mentality, right? I got to eat this. I got to eat this now, right? I can't tell you how many times that being a police officer, I was stuck on a crime scene or stuck on a job scene where I couldn't leave, be there for hours. We had hurricanes, Irene and Superstorm Sandy. We had an earthquake all while I was working, all those different events. And we were ordered to meal plan and meal prep and carry our food with us because nobody was sure what was going to happen, in those operational time periods. So, fortunately, that's the kind of way I was built. And you had alluded to this earlier. My wife is a fitness instructor, and she's learning to be actually registered, basically like a diet coach. So that's one of the reasons I'm able to eat better even now into my 50s is I'm learning from all the things she's saying. And one of the things she's saying is variety, right? Smaller meals, more often, variety, and then having it with you so you're not tempted to panic buy.
Yeah, and I think two things that happen, kind of what you said there. One, in the police world, I'm going to tell you this tip. When it's quiet, we don't like to use that word too much, but when it's quiet, eat. If you're hungry and it's quiet, eat. Mm-hmm. Because if you're hungry still, when that call comes out and you're stuck on that scene, like Corey said, then that hunger, the Snickers commercials get hangry?
Yeah.
You don't want to be hangry on those calls.
No, you got to get an IA because you're going to turn into Joe Pesci. You're going to snap at somebody.
Yeah, if it's quiet and you're hungry, eat, okay? And so having your food ready, because then, what else happens, right? You're working, let's say you're working the mid shift or whatever, and you're working until 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and you're like, all right, well, I'm going to be hungry a little bit. Let's order a pizza. Then you got to go order it. You got to call it in. And then what happens 30 minutes later? You get jammed up. You're on a call, and now your food's sitting there. The pizza guy's probably pissed because you didn't show up to pay your order.
Yep.
And, so having your meal prep ready, having it in your fridge at work or having it in your car with an ice pack ready to go.
That was me.
But no, it's great, though, because, dude, like, you want a snack. You're like, okay, it's right here. I can just grab it. And some might be able to say, well, aren't you going to overeat if you have that snack right there? It's like, no, because you're planning on how much. You're not buying, like, a Slurpee and 3 bags of M&Ms. You know what you packed and what you brought that day.
Yeah, that was the healthiest I ever was in my life is when I was working and I was eating from my lunchbox in my truck with me.
It's hard because, like a lot of guys and girls like to get together and lunch and BS and, kind of like that's a thing. You don't want to be like out of the loop. But listen, they might bust your balls a little bit, for the first time. You don't throw in to get the pizza, but you can still sit down and eat your lunch with them. And after a while, they're just going to accept you. And that's just going to be the routine.
It'll be old news.
Yeah.
Some rookie will do something stupid and you'll be good.
Yeah, and then you're not there anymore. So get past that. You don't have to be accepted to that point where you're like, you have to throw in to get the pizza. You have to throw in to get the cheesesteaks. Because they're the things that are like literally crush you. And the other thing I'm going to throw out there, and I see a lot of guys doing this, is like the sodas, man. The sodas.
And energy drinks. They're killers.
Well, I drink the sugar-free. Mm-hmm. But I'm still, I don't drink coffee. I drink sugar-free energy drinks. It's my vice. I try to wean off. It's very hard for me.
Yeah.
Caffeine, it's my hard thing to get over. Everyone has their thing. But I've gotten out of the soda world, out of the soda world.
Amen.
But I'm still drinking the sugar-free stuff. It's hard for me. But, we all have our things, and that's mine. I can be personally honest about that. But if you but then again, I'm going to say this: if you're going to get the coffees, try not to be dumping 7, 8 sugars in there. That's what's crushing you too, man.
Sugar, refined white sugar is terrible.
Yeah, that's what's crushing. So, avoiding those things like the sodas, the pizzas, the greasy foods. And I think a lot of it, too, is that when you're on patrol, for the most part, you're sitting around a lot, man. You're in the car. Maybe you're moving a lot. But for me, I know that personally, I think that when you're just at work, you're not moving as much.
Yeah, It's optimally, it's like the worst two scenarios, right? It's like you're sitting around all smashed in because you're wearing all this body armor and leather belt and all this extra weight and tourniquets and things in a seated position in a tight vehicle because it's got all this stuff around it, and you're expected and you're at a moment's notice, so your body's telling yourself at any second we have to go boom and go run and go do stuff, and I just ate, so I got to dedicate some blood and resources to digest my food, and all those things constantly mess with your gut health, with your hormone system, with your pituitary gland, your fight or flight or freeze response, and all those different things. So all those battles are hurting you. So one of the things I know Anthony's been through is the resiliency training, and especially in New Jersey, but anybody. Get a hold of your resiliency officer in your agency. Get a hold of me. I'm a resiliency facilitator as well. We can kind of help you get started on some healthy eating, some healthy snacks, some healthy activities and alternatives to things that you can do to spend time and bleed off stress, and maybe even getting you into the gym so you can find some positive ways to cope with all the stresses, whether we know that there's a stress that we can see or there's a stress that's just constantly, silently eating at us over 25 years.
One thing I'm going to recommend to people is if you get on this healthy track, here's what I want you to do. And I've done this personally, so I'm going to throw it out there. Create a journal or maybe some notes. When you're eating healthy, I want you to write down some things that you are seeing positive that is happening, because you got to mentally reinforce that. For me personally, I sleep better when I eat healthier. And then I kind of fall off a little bit. I'm eating a little too much pasta, too many carbs a little bit. And then I start noticing my sleep's going down. So I mentally know, I'm having worse sleep. Why is that? The other side effect I have, I get bad sinus headaches from storms and things like that. I've always had no matter what. But I've noticed when I'm eating worse with sugars and things like that, my headaches are more frequent. Mm-hmm. I'm having those issues. So I've taken notice over the years, and it's kind of reinforced. So, when I'm falling off a little bit, I'm having a bad week or two eating, and I'm starting to get headaches and I go, this is because you're eating bad, Anthony. Mm-hmm. You're eating bad. You got to start getting back. And it's just kicks me in the ass and go, okay, it's time to get there. The last thing I want to throw out there as well is, and from being a wrestler, this is where this started in my life, but I highly recommend it. Buy a scale and weigh yourself every day. Every morning I weigh myself. Every morning it's a routine. Get up, go shower, weigh myself. Because when you physically see that number, it's like a mental check, in your head. Where your numbers are. Because if you don't jump on a scale for a couple months and you don't realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh, crap, man. So I'm telling you, buy a scale, and check it every day.
That's good. That's good.
That helps me. I got one other one.
There's a lot of women out there that would argue with you right now. They're like, oh, no, I don't want to do it. Or fitness instructors, too. They would say, it's not what you weigh, it's what you look like. I'm like, oh, stop. He's got a point. I like your point.
Listen, you can flex your numbers. I'm not oh, my God, I'm 0.01 today. I'm not freaking out.
Yeah.
But I know if I'm on vacation, I come home and I'm 5 pounds different.
We know what happened.
We know it's all right, it's time to tighten up. Here's my other recommendation, and I've been the same since day one, so I will throw this out. When you get those first pair of work pants, no matter what you do, it doesn't have to be police world, whatever, okay? What size you are coming out of the academy, you should not be buying bigger pants, waist-wise. My opinion. Mm-hmm. That should be your number, because people get those bigger size pants and just get a little more comfortable, Next thing they know, they jumped up 5 sizes, and they're like...
And 2 belts.
Yeah, and they don't realize it. I'm telling you, if your pants are getting tighter, it's not time to get bigger pants.
Yes.
It's time to lose some weight. That's my opinion.
I'm going to end on a high note. That was perfect.
Oh, well, thank you.
That was perfect. SAFETYMAN.co, @SAFETYMAN.co on all social media. Stay safe.
Thanks, guys. Make sure you sub. And, hey, if you got some tips for us, drop them down below. Maybe we'll do a part 2.
Yeah, and no hoagies after this.
No hoagies. Yeah, I've been cutting down on the hoagies, so...
Be safe.
See you guys. Thanks.